Hello everybody, my name is Andy and welcome to Fly Tying 101, Lesson 1, the Vise. And I've created this series of videos, hopefully there'll be many more, to help the beginning, intermediate, and even advanced fly tyer in learning some of the techniques necessary in tying very good flies, whether it be for competition or using them for fishing or giving them away as gifts. What is a fly tying vise? Well, simply put, it is a device which is designed to hold a hook. This particular one is a very large salmon hook. But it's very difficult to tie a fly using just your hands. Although there are certain techniques that you need to be able to do that, it's, again, very difficult and not very practical. So what most people use is a vise. And this particular device happens to be an older one that my father had, made extremely well. As you can see, it's cast, built very, very well and very robust. But the problem with a vise like this, whether it be an older one or a more contemporary one, is several-fold. And that is, you cannot change the angle of the head while it's in position here, while the hook is in position, other than literally loosening it and then changing the position of where the hook is in the jaw. And the other thing you cannot do is you cannot physically rotate the hook. In other words, you cannot, while the hook is in position, literally make it spin around in order to apply materials, etc. So that's a disadvantage of this particular vise, even though it's made particularly well. Another one is the fact that you can see this is cast here, and I, as a left-handed tyer, have a difficult time using this simply because it's not set up for a left-handed tyer. So what I did was I went and purchased, as my starter vise, a very economical vise here that came from, we'll just say, a mass merchant. You can get these all over the place with various different brand names, etc. They're all about the same, and they all cost about $30. They come with what's called a C-clamp, which you see here, and it can be mounted such that a left-handed or a right-handed tyer can lock it onto a bench. I don't particularly like that because it's not movable, but then again, it comes with it. For an additional $15 or so, you can buy a pedestal base, and that can sit flat on just about any surface. It's got a little cushion on here, and it helps prevent from marring. Now, the advantage of a vise like this versus the other vise I just mentioned is you can pivot this head up and down to adjust the angle here, and as you can see, I can move things here a little bit. I can now straighten it out, or I can angle it up, etc. The other advantage, again, is you get different size jaws. This is the standard jaw here, but you can get a different, heavier jaw, etc. Now, for the disadvantages, quite frankly, it's not machined with very tight tolerances, so when you're spinning it, it's sort of tight and then very loose, and then tight, very loose. And as you can see by taking a look at this, you do have a bit of spin in here and or wobble in the hook, and it doesn't necessarily hold the hooks extremely well. It's okay for the beginner. Again, it costs about $30, $40, so it's not very bad. However, if you're going to do this on a regular basis and really want to get some enjoyment out of it, this is probably something you want to keep for friends, or maybe like I do for my son, who's 9, who wants to come down and tie with me. The next step up would be one of several different brands. There's lots of different choices. I used to have an HMH vise, very nice, extremely well made. Anvil makes good vises. Peak. Dynaking is a good brand, especially if you're going to do the real large stuff like big musky hooks. Hooks, you know, this big and bigger. It holds it extremely well, very robust. Norvise, or in this particular case, what I have here is a Renzetti model. One of the first things you'll notice is it comes with a much larger and much heavier and much better built base. It comes with a bobbin holder, which we'll talk about in another episode here. It does have articulation in both this axis here to change the angle, as well as this axis here. And what you'll notice, if you reference here, as you spin this, it's much smoother and it hardly changes the angle at all. This does come at a price, however. A vise like this is probably going to be in the neighborhood of about $300. You can spend all the way up to $800, but quite frankly, I think this is a good point where you could probably stop and literally not buy another vise and be very, very happy with. Again, if you notice, it's extremely smooth in its action, but yet very, very strong. I could probably bend this hook before I move it in the vise. It has, I guess I'll call it micro adjust and macro adjust. In other words, you can change these two settings here to be able to tie a huge hook like this all the way down to some very, very small hooks. As a point of reference, this is a pinky nail. This is a size 22 hook, and it actually ties these extremely well. That's really about it as far as vices are concerned. Again, a very basic tool, but something that you really should invest in when you're going to be fly tying. And hopefully we'll see you again on the next installment, which will actually be bobbins. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.